And I have a dressmaker's dummy. She holds my lab coats when I'm off work. This is Gertrude. She has no head, but she does have one leg somewhere down there so that you can make pants. Hello and welcome to A Rumor of Stitches. My name is Janice and you can find me on YouTube as A Rumor of Stitches and on Instagram as Killer Queen 2485. Thanks and enjoy the show. All you ever really see is this part, but I thought I would show you all the rest of it because it gets pretty messy when I'm off and I'm making stuff. This is gonna be a cleanup video. This is cleanup day. I've been sewing for 4 days, so I'm just gonna be putting everything away because I have to go back to work for 4 days and I won't be able to record another video for a little while. Down here you see some cotton batting peeking out from underneath. This is what I'm going to use on the bowl cozies. And you see I have 6 boxes of patterns. And I have some more crafting supplies over here. This fabric is off by itself because it has already been washed. And these are going to be made into garments. And I don't mix my washed and non-washed fabrics because one will shrink and one won't. And then over here I have leftover mask making supplies. These are just headbands, ponytails, and pipe cleaners. And these bamboo skewers I will be using to quilt my quilt. And I use these for pinning out my layers. And I'll show you how I do that on another video. And then back here, attached to a wall by a little hook, I have some of my cutting mats, my larger ones. And then some more quilt rulers. And like I said, this is cleanup day because I go back to work. So all this stuff will be put away and organized. And yeah, there's some more quilting and sewing supplies back there too. And another little peek of some fabric. I've got some projects stacked up over here. These are some quilt rulers and stuff that I did in the last haul video. This is the Jelly Roll Bowl Cozy that I'm going to be using on these. I've got all these ironed out and flattened out, ready to go. I may cut those out before I'm done. I've got some strips that I've been processing, and I'm going to be squaring those up to get ready to make some pineapple quilt blocks and some log cabins and stuff like that. Here's the quilts that I have, the quilt tops that I showed in one of my last videos. Oh, and look, I found 2 more that are throw size. They're the same, they're just pieces of the same quilt. I've got some black and white fabric. I've got some fat quarters. And this is some fabric that I've got that I'm going to be making bags out of. And then I have some more fat quarters that I've just been gathering different kinds and I'm going to be making some quilts out of. This one is Mario. This one is Jack Skellington. And this has got a Nightmare Before Christmas. It's just a couple of different patterns and I'm going to be adding some to that as well. Then underneath that is my Harry Potter collection of fat quarters. I have the different houses. Got all those. And then I've got some that just has the Harry Potter logo. I've got some with Ron and Hermione and Harry, and then of course the Marauders map. I love the Marauders map. And then there's some cartoon stylized, and then just different ones from Hogwarts and Harry Potter and all that good stuff. So that's that. These are going to be quilts, and I think I'm going to be making a bag out of some leftover fabric out of the Harry Potters as well. But that'll be bags for later. One of my other videos, I was talking about how I took the pieces from my Jelly Roll race quilt and made bags out of it, and I was going to take the rest of it and make these bowl cozies. Well, this is the bag that I was talking about. I took some of those leftover pieces from those bags, and I made a container for just some sewing notions. This is the loop that you put through to do drawstrings. I use that a lot. Also use it for elastic. I have my roll of black elastic, and I have my roll of white elastic that is in here. I made this bag that has the divider in it. I thought that was really cute. I made it from a Simplicity pattern. This is the pattern that I used. Simplicity 1079. It's one size, and this is the pattern here. It's a bag with dividers, and I'm actually going to make another bag just like that. So when I do, I'll make a video of me making that too. And it's got some cute organizing things. It's got for knitting needles. It's got a handicraft bag, it's a zipper pouch, and then it has a wall organizer and just organizers for your supplies and stuff. So yeah, I don't know how long I've had it. I've had it forever. I don't even know if they still make this pattern or not. And this just has a divider in the bottom. Well, when I was making a mask, I had these huge rolls of elastic, and I use elastic all the time anyway, so I figured this would be a great place to put it. It would also be great for knitting, like 2 at a time socks or whatever, because you have 2 balls of yarn, and I knit all the time anyway. So I figured if I'm not using it for that, I'll just switch it out and use it for knitting. And then I just stuck my sewing container in here, my travel sewing, and this is another travel sewing container. It has like little odds and ends. It's supposed to be for thread because it has 4 places for you to thread your ends of your thread through, but I just use it for odds and ends. I also have a pencil case that matches all of these, and that matches all of that. I got all these when I worked at Joann's. They were on clearance. These are Fons and Porter, and when I got those, they had been on the shelves for a really long time, and everything basically inside this was rusted. The thimble was rusted, some pins are rusted, so I just replaced what was messed up, and I use it all the time now. I had a lot of Dr. Seuss fabric, but I already made those up into bags, and this holds all of my black thread. I have a lot of black thread. I have a whole container. I have 4 containers of thread, but I use so much black thread that I thought I would just put it in here where it was handy. And this is a bag that I made. I was experimenting with weaving fabric strips, and I just took my 2.5-inch fabric strips and just folded them over and weaved them in and out and made up a bag. And I use this all the time. I take my supplies and all my stuff when I go to work. I just stick everything in here and it's perfect. And here are just a few more of the bags that I made. I took some more Dr. Seuss fabric, and this actually stays with my cathedral window quilt because it has the natural thread that I use with it. So that one stays with that. This is another bag that I've used, that I've made out of just scraps from the Jelly Roll Race quilts that I've made. And it is holding my knitting. I'm knitting a scarf, and I'll show you that. I'll go into more detail when I talk about my knitting. But it's not going to be a very big scarf, but even if it is, the thread is very fine. And it is, I think it's a lace weight. Let me see. It is. No, it's a fingering weight. So it's Cloudborne Merino Superwash Sock Twist. But it's purple. I love it. And that's going to be shown in a whip video when I get around to ever talking about my knitting. And then there's that bag like that. And I made a little zipper pull out of a little charm I got, of course, at Joann's. And let's see. Here's a different kind of bag that I've made. This one is a drawstring. And it has a bucket bottom on it. And you just fold the top down and it just stays open. This holds all of my zippers. Like, I get the make your own zipper and I get the 10-yard packs. Like, there's one that's black, but it has rainbow threads in it. And then this one is black, white, and grays. I have a pink and purple set. And then I just have a white set. But look at all those pretty little zipper pulls. You can pick your color of zipper, your color of zipper pulls, whether you want it to open up one way or the other, or come out from the middle. Like the one that I made with my pressing mat, it opens from the center and comes to the outside. But this, you just fold it back up and everything stays inside. And I always just tie them across the top, because after that you can just pick it up from the handle and just do that. And this is another fabric that I have. It's another fat quarter from my pack of Dr. Seuss. And let's see. Oh, all of my bags like this, I'm pretty sure this one has it too. Yes. They all have a clip inside so that you can put a D-ring or whatever on whatever you've got. You can put your keys in there. So if you want something little, you can hook it on this and you won't have to search around in the bottom of the bag because it's pretty deep. And this one actually is one of the first ones that I made. I kind of experimented on how I wanted to make my bags, because this one has a flat top and a flat bottom, and I didn't know exactly how I wanted to make them. But this one is also holding a shawl. It's holding my knitting. And this one I think is going to be a big one. This is Superwash Merino Sports Twist from Cloudborne. It is in a teal color, but it's a size 2 sport weight. And it is going to be making a hemisphere shawl. Yeah, there we go. So I'll show you more about that when I get around. Like I said, when I get around to my knitting videos. This is the last one of the Dr. Seuss bags, and it has the red oil slick fabric on the inside. It also has a little claw inside, and I don't have anything in that yet, but it will have something. Now the next one that I made a whole set out of, but I had a whole yard of this fabric, and this is my favorite Van Gogh. And I made 3 different sizes. Those both have shoulder straps, and then this one just has a side strap, and I figured I would just use it for like luggage or something. But on the inside it has just a couple of stars on sky. It's not from the same collection, but it kind of matches, so I just got those lined with that fabric. And of course this is another bag that I made just using up some of the quilt leftovers, and inside of it is some extra yarn that I've got put aside for a project that I'm going to be making, and some yarn I have put back for extra projects, and this is just leftover yarn that I haven't decided what I'm going to do with yet. But I've got all of that safely tucked away in this bag, so it's out of the way and it stays dust free. And then comes my favorite bag. I use this in the autumn. This is my Halloween bag. And front and center is a zombie nurse. That's me. I'm a nurse, and I thought it was hilarious that she is a zombie, because that's what we feel like when we come off of night shift. 13, 14 hours working night shift, you feel like a zombie. And I do use this. I go to work with it during the Halloween season, so. And it's pretty big. It holds everything that I need. I put my lunch in here. I put an extra set of scrubs. I put all of my stuff in there. See? Plenty big. Here are a couple of more bags. This one has some projects that have already been started. This is a shawl that I'm just making up. Here I have a notions pouch in the bottom that, again, I've made out of just extra leftover pieces from quilts. See, I've got my little notions and stuff in there. So that's all safe and sound. I've got a set of interchangeable needles and just odds and ends. And that's a drawstring bucket bag as well. And then this one I thought was really cute. It's got the chevron pattern, and it has knitting balls of yarn. And inside I have a sweater that I have got started. It's a cowl neck. This is the neck, and then this is the sweater. And again, I'll show you when I go into my knitting stuff. I'll show you what all I've got. I'll do a whips, and I'll do a finished object stuff and stuff like that. So that's all the bags right now that I have out. I have a ton of bags. Like I said, I might just make them out of leftover quilts or fat quarters that I just think are really cute that I don't want to cut up. Okay, so I have a big pile of stuff over here that I need to sort out and put away. I've got a bag of just scraps. This bag here is scraps. This bag has scraps of batting. This has my half square triangle quilt. Here's a bag of pieces of quilts and stuff I'm going to be making into bags and other quilts. This one's going to be a bag. I'm going to be using this to make a bag to put my new rulers in. So I'm going to take that out and see. This is all sewing themed. So that's put aside for now. And when I say I have to process fabric, see this? I have quilt batting. This quilt batting I've got laid out to fluff up so I can put it in a quilt. I always take my quilt batting out of the packaging and let it breathe and let it relax so that it is true to form when I go to make a quilt. But this stack of fabric right here, I have to process these quilt pieces. These are fat quarters. This is all I have left of the fat quarters. But I processed them with my AccuQuilt. And I have a bunch of dies that I just go through and cut and process for each of my different quilts that I am making. This, of course, I talked about in an earlier video. This is just a sample of my quilt fabric. This is a stack of puzzles that I'm going to make. And I use those to put them up on my wall. And this is another quilt that is in the process. It's a quilt as you go quilt. It's in the process of being made. This is another quilt in the process of being designed and made. It's got the skyline fabric from, I think it was 1999, that has the twin towers on it. Here's a big stack of 2.5-inch strips. And then we're back here, and this is some of the bee fabric that I've been pulling out that I was talking about in the last video that I didn't even know I had. And this is my ironing mat. And these are kind of cute. These are needle keepers. I have a small one that I use when I'm working on my cathedral window quilt, but it really doesn't hold enough needles. So all it is it's like a little book, and it has little felt pieces in it, and you just thread your needles and stick them in here, and they just keep your needles ready. And I have 2 of them, one for black thread and one for white, but I don't have the needles in there yet. It's really great to be able to make what you envision and not have to go out and search for it and have to buy it. Thanks for watching A Rumor of Stitches. My name is Janice, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and make sure to hit the bell if you want notifications when I put up new videos. Thanks.